All right, if you're a pharmacy professional in Pakistan, you know this feeling. You've got this powerful degree, one with so much potential, but the reality on the ground, it can be a real struggle. There's this frustrating gap, right, between the career you were promised and the opportunities you actually see. Well, in this explainer, we're going to give you a playbook to help you bridge that exact gap.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It gets to the very heart of the problem. It validates all those real frustrations pharmacists are facing while still acknowledging how important the field is. It's a profession just brimming with untapped potential, and our goal here is to show you exactly how to unlock it.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you actually build a successful career when things are this challenging? And listen, the answer is not waiting around for the system to magically fix itself. It's about making smart, strategic moves right now. So let's get into the playbook and break down how you can navigate this environment to build a foundation for a truly global career.
Okay, first things first. We have to understand the core disconnect. You see, the Pharm.D program was designed to create top-tier clinical experts, but the world that new graduates step into, well, it often tells a completely different story. Let's really break down this gap between the vision and the reality.
And I mean, the contrast it's really stark. On one hand, the vision for the Pharm.D program is truly world-class. You're supposed to be a clinical expert, totally focused on patient care, working with an international-level curriculum. But the reality on the ground? All too often it's a role that gets reduced to just dispensing, with very little professional recognition and a job market that's just flooded. A big part of this disconnect is fueled by overcrowded schools pumping out more graduates than the market can absorb, and, sometimes, limited clinical training that leaves a lot of people feeling underprepared.
So, knowing that this gap exists, what are the specific, systemic hurdles that are holding the profession back? And look, understanding these obstacles isn't about being negative. It's about being strategic. You have to know what you're up against. So let's dig into the key challenges.
First up, the economic pressure is immense. We're talking about thousands of new graduates flooding the market every single year, and they're all competing for a very, very small number of jobs. This kind of fierce competition, it naturally drives down wages, and a lot of new grads find that the entry-level salaries, well, they're just not enough to build a life on.
And then there's this professional identity crisis. You're trained as a clinical expert, right? But you're often seen by other healthcare professionals and even the public as simply a dispenser. This lack of recognition for your clinical skills is a massive, massive barrier. It really stops pharmacists from being fully integrated into patient care teams where they belong. On top of all that, you've got major structural problems. There are laws on the books designed to empower pharmacists, but they are very weakly enforced. You have different professional associations with conflicting interests, and you see political compromises being made that often put short-term gains ahead of the long-term health of the profession. These are the deep-seated issues that make progress feel so difficult.
Okay, so that's the landscape of challenges. Now let's pivot to the most important part, the solution. How do you, as an individual, rise above all this and create your own opportunities? This is where we get strategic.
So, how do you stand out? Well, getting a dual degree or a certification can be an absolute game changer. Think about it. You combine your Pharm.D with an MBA, and suddenly you're opening doors in marketing, sales, even entrepreneurship. Or maybe you add an MPH, a Master of Public Health. Now you're perfectly positioned for high-impact roles in NGOs or global health. And what about board certifications? They give you a globally recognized specialization that makes you stand out, especially for clinical or medical affairs roles. These are not just extra letters on your resume. They are powerful strategic tools.
Now, a quick but really important piece of advice here. You might face some resistance. A lot of academic institutions are still a little skeptical of these non-traditional paths. So be ready to justify your choices. And you need to find mentors who are in the industry, not just in academia, people who understand the real-world value of these kinds of interdisciplinary skills.
Now, a lot of people see their first job in Pakistan as just a waiting period, something you do before you go abroad. But that is a huge mistake. That local experience isn't just a box to tick off a list. It is your single most valuable strategic asset. Let me show you why.
I want you to think of your local experience in 3 strategic steps. First, it literally fulfills the mandatory experience requirements you need for licensing exams in countries like the US, Canada, and the UK. You can't skip it. Second, and this is just as important, it's where you build your real-world competence. It's where you develop skills, competence, and professional discipline. And third, this is your chance to explore. You can try out different sectors, clinical, community, industry, and really discover what you're passionate about.
So let's bring all of this together.
The path forward is not about passively sitting around and waiting for opportunities to fall in your lap. It's about proactively designing your career with a very clear two-part strategy. You build a strong foundation at home while always keeping an eye on the global landscape.
If you take only one thing away from all of this, let it be this. Your time working in Pakistan is not a detour. It is your launchpad. Every skill you gain, every challenge you overcome, every connection you make, that is all fuel for your journey. And it doesn't matter if your goal is to be a leader at home or to succeed somewhere else in the world.
Look, the challenges are real, no doubt about it, but so are the opportunities for those who are willing to be strategic, resilient, and forward-thinking. The power is truly in your hands to navigate this landscape and build an exceptional career. So now that you have the playbook, what's your first move going to be?